I'm Margaret Chen, 78 years old. When my son died suddenly, his wife Victoria immediately tried to put me in a nursing home and sell my house to fund her new boyfriend's business. She had power of attorney documents she claimed my son signed before he died. Victoria thought an old Chinese grandmother would be easy to control. She didn't know I'm a retired immigration lawyer who built $1 million practice helping families protect their assets. This is how I exposed her fraud and left her with nothing. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you never miss revenge stories like this. My name is Margaret Chen, and I'm 78 years old. I came to America from Taiwan 50 years ago with nothing but a law degree and determination. I built a successful immigration law practice in San Francisco, retired at 70, and thought I'd spend my remaining years in peace. My son David was my only child. He married Victoria 8 years ago when he was 42 and she was 28. I never liked Victoria. She was beautiful, charming to David's face, but I saw how she looked at our family home, our bank accounts, David's inheritance from his father. She saw dollar signs everywhere. David died suddenly from a heart attack 6 months ago at 50. He was healthy, active, successful. His death devastated me. My only child gone at 50 years old. Victoria cried at the funeral, but I noticed she was on her phone constantly, texting someone and smiling when she thought nobody was watching. 2 weeks after David's funeral, Victoria came to my house with a lawyer named Richard Stevens. Margaret, we need to talk about your living situation. David was very concerned about you living alone at your age. He signed power of attorney documents, giving me authority to make medical and financial decisions for you. I've found a wonderful nursing home facility. You'll be so much happier with people your own age taking care of you. I was shocked. David never mentioned any power of attorney. I'm 78 and perfectly healthy. I don't need a nursing home. Margaret, you're confused. Grief does that to elderly people. David wanted you properly cared for. The nursing home costs $15,000 monthly, but don't worry, we'll sell this house to pay for it. The house is worth about $2 million. That'll cover your care for 10 years at least. This is my house. David has no authority to give you power of attorney over me or my property. Richard the lawyer smiled condescendingly. Mrs. Chen, David was your son and had concerns about your cognitive decline. The power of attorney documents are properly executed and notarized. Victoria has full authority now. We're moving forward with the nursing home placement next week. After they left, I called my former law partner, James Wu. James and I had practiced law together for 30 years before we both retired. James, Victoria's trying to put me in a nursing home and sell my house. She claims David gave her power of attorney over me. James was furious. That's impossible. Power of attorney requires the principal. That's you to sign it, not David. She's lying or has fake documents. Let me see what she filed. While James investigated the legal documents, I did something Victoria didn't know I could do. Before I specialized in immigration law, I spent 5 years doing elder law and estate planning. I knew every trick families use to steal from elderly relatives. Power of attorney fraud was one of the most common schemes. I examined the documents Victoria had presented. They were fake. The notary signature was forged. The witness signatures were traced from other documents. The legal language was wrong for California law. Victoria had created fraudulent power of attorney documents and hoped I was too old or grief-stricken to notice. I also discovered something else. Victoria had a boyfriend named Marcus Reid. She'd been seeing him for 2 years, while married to David. Marcus had a failed tech startup and was drowning in debt. Victoria's plan was to put me in a nursing home, sell my $2 million house, take the money as my financial guardian, and give it to Marcus for his business. I called my son's best friend, Daniel Park. Daniel, I need you to tell me the truth. Did you know Victoria was cheating on David? There was a long silence. Yes, Margaret. I told David about it 6 months before he died. He was planning to divorce her. He'd already contacted a divorce lawyer and was gathering evidence. David didn't tell you because he didn't want to worry you. He was going to file for divorce the week after he died. Everything made sense now. David had discovered Victoria's affair and was divorcing her. Then he died suddenly from a heart attack. Victoria saw an opportunity, steal from the grieving elderly mother-in-law and use the money to fund her boyfriend's business. I contacted David's divorce lawyer, Susan Martinez. Susan, David was planning to divorce Victoria. Do you have evidence of her affair? Yes. David hired a private investigator. We have photos, hotel records, financial records showing Victoria spending David's money on Marcus. We were going to file for divorce, but David died before we could proceed. Can you send me everything? I need it for a case I'm building. I spent the next 2 weeks building my counterattack. I gathered evidence of Victoria's affair, her fake power of attorney documents, her plan to steal my house, and Marcus's failed business and debts. I also discovered Victoria had already started transferring money from David's accounts to Marcus, illegal since David's estate hadn't been settled yet. Then I filed a lawsuit against Victoria for fraud, elder abuse, forgery, and theft. I also filed a police report for the forged power of attorney documents. And I filed a challenge to David's estate claiming Victoria was not entitled to inherit anything because she'd been committing adultery and planning to divorce David when he died. Victoria was served with all the legal papers at once. She called me screaming, "You crazy old woman, you can't do this to me. David left everything to me in his will." Victoria, California is a community property state, but adultery affects inheritance. David was divorcing you. I have evidence of your 2-year affair with Marcus. I also have evidence you forged power of attorney documents to try to steal my house. You're going to lose everything and possibly go to jail. Victoria hired an expensive lawyer to fight me, but she was doomed. The evidence was overwhelming. The forensic document examiner proved the power of attorney was forged using traced signatures and a fake notary stamp. The private investigator testified about Victoria's affair with Marcus and showed photos of them together at hotels David had paid for. The bank records showed Victoria had transferred $80,000 from David's accounts to Marcus's business after David died. The judge was furious. Ms. Victoria Chen, you forged legal documents to try to institutionalize your elderly mother-in-law and steal her home while she was grieving her son's death. You committed adultery throughout your marriage. You stole from your deceased husband's estate before it was settled. You are exactly the kind of person elder abuse laws were written to stop. Victoria was ordered to return every penny she'd taken from David's accounts. She was stripped of any inheritance from David's estate. Everything went to me as David's mother and only heir. She was convicted of forgery and fraud and sentenced to 3 years in prison. Her boyfriend Marcus was charged as an accomplice for receiving stolen money and also convicted. The most satisfying moment came when Victoria's lawyer tried to argue for leniency. Your Honor, my client is a young woman who made mistakes. She doesn't deserve prison. I stood up and addressed the court. Your Honor, I'm 78 years old. I came to this country with nothing and built a successful law practice over 50 years. My son David was my only child, and he died at 50 years old. While I was grieving, Victoria tried to institutionalize me, steal my home, and use my money to fund her boyfriend's failed business. She thought being old made me helpless. She learned that 78 years means 78 years of experience, and 50 years as a lawyer means I know every legal weapon available. She deserves every day of that prison sentence. The judge agreed. Victoria got 3 years. Marcus got 2 years for conspiracy and receiving stolen property. Victoria is now 18 months into her sentence. She tried to appeal, claiming the evidence was obtained improperly. The appeal was denied. When she's released, she'll have nothing. No inheritance, no house, no career, and a felony record. I'm 78 years old now. I still live in the house I've owned for 40 years. David's estate came entirely to me as his only surviving parent. I've used some of that money to establish a legal fund that helps elderly people fight financial abuse from family members. People sometimes ask if I feel bad about sending my daughter-in-law to prison. The answer is no. Victoria tried to institutionalize me against my will and steal my home while I was grieving my only child's death. She thought my age made me vulnerable. She learned that age brings wisdom, experience brings knowledge, and 50 years as a lawyer brings power. Victoria thought an old Chinese grandmother would be easy prey. She forgot that old Chinese grandmothers are survivors who came to a new country with nothing and built empires. She forgot that retirement doesn't erase 50 years of legal expertise. She forgot that underestimating your opponent is the fastest way to lose. I'm 78 years old. I'm a retired immigration lawyer. I'm a grieving mother who lost her only son. And I'm a woman who destroyed the gold digger who tried to steal everything my family built. Victoria learned that lesson in a prison cell. The end.